Hello, my name is Flo, and I'm a counseling psychologist. And today I would like us to talk about suicide. We're in the month of September, which on 10th of September is the World Suicide Prevention Day, and therefore I want us to discuss a few things about suicide. Mostly, what's the causes of suicide, and mostly we'll look at mental disorders. We'll look at schizophrenia, we'll look at bipolar, we'll look at depression. Those are high contributors of leading people into committing suicide or even having the suicidal ideation. When I look also at personality traits, we have the melancholic, the phlegmatic, we have the choleric, we have the sanguines. These people with different personality traits could be more susceptible to suicidal ideation. When I say suicidal ideation, I mean they think about it and they may actually go to an extent of committing suicide. So for melancholic people, these are people who they are mostly pessimistic, they are unhappy, they are rigid, they are indecisive, they are unsociable, and they think a lot, and anxious. They are anxious, and such a personality traits is more prone to suicidal ideation. The melancholic and the phlegmatic are introverts. They are not outgoing. They love being by themselves. The phlegmatic is mostly quiet. They are passive. They are really used by people because they are so reliable. They want to please everyone. They are persistent. They are even hot-tempered. They are also calm. You may not actually know what they are thinking about, and that kind of isolation makes them more susceptible to suicide. Unlike the extroverts, the choleric and the sanguines, these people, the choleric is excitable, they are active, they are restless, and they are optimistic. Well, the sanguines are outgoing, they are easygoing, they are talkative, they are social, they have a lot of friends, they are carefree, hopeful, they are leaders, and their nature basically kind of protects them. But we are not eliminating them because there are other issues that may make any person be led to commit suicide. You cannot say, okay, this is a phlegmatic, so they will die of suicide, or this is a sanguine, they are not going to die of suicide. No. This is just a guide. And another thing, apart from personality traits and mental disorders, is what our family issues are. Maybe people coming from a family with a history of suicide, you find that someone else in that family may commit suicide. Why? Because, of course, there's depression that comes after that person goes, and then leads to that. So there could be a repeat in the family where suicide is, because meaning there is a likelihood of depression stemming from that family. There's also issues, sibling rivalry. They really can get too hot and drive someone to that. Nowadays, there are really these sad stories where someone from one family, the spouse dies, and the in-laws really torment this person. I've had these issues mostly from widows who have been forced to leave their home because they are not wanted anymore, and mostly we know it's because of property. And there's that isolation. So family conflicts, there's abuse. Someone may be sexually abused by a family member, and this may drive them into committing suicide. There are life situations that come, like a divorce. You may be going through a really tough custody issue, battle, a breakup. Breakups really hurt, and rejection. I've been trying to remember someone who talked about rejection as an encouragement that unless you are rejected, you may not know what love is, you may not know because you don't have a structure, you don't know what it would be if you're not rejected. And on this point, I know rejection can really hurt. You may have envisioned your family, having a family, children, with a husband, a house, and your life doesn't come out like that. And this can really turn out to be extremely frustrating. Just a bit of a mention on men and suicide is men are labeled providers of the family, and the society has really put a lot of pressure on them. And when this man cannot manage to contribute as they are expected to, you find them getting frustrated. They feel guilty, they feel worthless, and if the spouse or the wife is not encouraging them, you find this man giving up and running into suicide as a way to resolve his issues. Isolation. Look at people who are lonely. Like nowadays, grandparents, when they become too old, their children have left for the city and jobs. There are no grandchildren around that keep them lively and happy. And they may be neglected. No one sends money or buys food. And there are, actually, I was on an online video conference with some people, and they are talking of a place like Machakos, where many elderly people have committed suicide. It's lonely. So when you are isolated and lonely, this could be one way to push you out of that. And what are the signs of what are the signs? How can you know that someone is actually on that route of trying to commit suicide? You may find that some people, they think that no one can understand them, no one knows their feelings, and no one cares at all, and they may withdraw from being together with people, doing any activity. They may sleep too little or sleep too much. And you might find these people like calling friends and saying goodbye, and then they might start giving their things away, or even becoming aggressive. I want to add that that you may actually find these people either taking too much alcohol or getting too overwhelmed by issues. These are signs that you can see. They may not take calls, and to trick you, they might actually tell you, "Oh, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm doing fine. Everything is fine." And these are some of the trigger issues. A person with these ideations may go to an extent of planning, and they might tell you how they are going to do it and where they will do it. and they might actually tell you, okay, come over, take my children, take this stuff if they are close to you, and I hope you will be able to take care of my stuff if you don't see me. And those are the things to look out for. It's good when we talk about how to go about it to conserve yourself. For example, if you are thinking about suicide yourself, that's something that should be taken seriously. You should see and talk to someone about it if you're thinking about that, because you never know how quickly it might escalate. So anytime you may think about that, just talk to someone. For men, I want to also talk, one of the causes of people trying to commit suicide is you're not reaching out. People think that when men reach out, it's a toxic masculinity. For example, let me tell you, if you were to find a woman talking to another woman, crying and hugging and uncontrollable, no one thinks about it much. They think, oh, women, that's what they do. But these women are actually relieving some of their stress, and they open up and they heal easily. But if you would come and find a man crying and talking to another one, already crying for any man, especially in Kenya, it becomes an issue. You know, Ruto cried, I don't know who cried, and then you find also a lot of jokes online. If I've seen people who have written, they are reaching out, they are crying out for help, and they may have left a note on social media, and you see people reprimanding them. So at this point, I want to call out on everyone who sees such an issue and even goes to an extent on social media advising someone how they should do it, or you won't be the first one. People can really be mean, and I'm not judging, but I say let's take caution on that. I would urge someone to reach out, but and at this juncture talk about the stigma with reaching out. People ask me as a psychologist, I know there's a lot of stigma in seeking counseling service in Kenya. Some people just think that someone doing that is out of their mind, they are crazy. But no, it should not be stigmatized. It shouldn't be. It's not bad to seek help. And I mean help from a counselor, a professional, someone with an unjudgmental attitude, someone empathetic, and someone who actually has knows how to go about it. It's good to seek counseling. It's also good to seek psychiatric help. With psychiatric help, sometimes you may be extremely overwhelmed. You can't think, you just see this darkness I've been talking about, because one of the signs people see is darkness, hopelessness, and death. So when you think you are too helpless, you can see a psychiatrist, get a prescription drug that helps you calm down. It helps you not just focus on one way for a solution, which is suicide. It helps you look at other options, and it will relieve some of the things. And then with psychotherapy, you'll be able to look at other options. But I know you are going to say, kama at a job, the lack of work and employment is what has driven me to this point. How am I going to seek counseling services? So I urge you, try to find one person that you can talk to. Also, there are ways you can try to change your thought patterns. And mostly I like talking about taking a walk, a focused walk. Take a focused walk, for example. Walking doesn't cost anything. And when I talk about a focused walk, is I want you to be able to look around the environment you're in, use your senses, see things and try to see the goodness in them. For example, if you see flowers, pluck them, you are touching them. Smell them. Smell the ground. If it's raining, there's that nice smell. When it's dusty, also smell that. It distracts you. If there are trees, just enjoy looking at their forms. Sometimes I tell people, if I walk and I look at trees, I see funny forms of people or an animal, and that takes your mind from overthinking. Also, if there are hills around or a rainbow, try to admire what God has created. That small distraction when you are taking a walk may be all it takes to help you feel better. Greet someone on the way. Also, I would say you don't have to have money to do something nice to people, other people. Helping other people really, really elevates your mood. Giving is better than receiving. You could volunteer in a school. Most schools have a special school department. Go and play with those children. Volunteer, do something, wake up, sweep your house, mop it, clean some dishes, go for a run. It will help take the thought away. It's got a distraction. I want to talk about something I've been trying to practice, which is self-compassion, mindfulness, self-compassion. Okay, it's a very interesting thing because it's, what do you tell yourself? Because we all speak in yourself. In the brain, we tell ourselves stuff. So are you harsh to yourself? Are you forgiving? Do you encourage yourself, or you are harsh to yourself? When you speak to yourself, are you respectful to yourself? Are you? Do you encourage yourself? Do you talk to yourself the way you would talk to your own child, with love and care and support? Okay, let me ask you one thing. If you were talking to yourself, the way you talk to yourself and you were to talk it to your friend, would they be friends with you? Do you tell yourself, what an idiot, you are so silly, get a grip on yourself? Or do you tell yourself, okay, today we didn't finish this appointment, tomorrow is another day, today it was not successful, tomorrow there is another day to try, and yeah, you didn't have to get it right today or now, or tell yourself nice things about yourself, encourage yourself, it helps. And I want to say also, on that note of mindfulness, self-compassion is I want you to remember that things happen to you are common in humanity. I want to encourage that you are not alone, that we all struggle and we are all trying to find peace. So do not be isolated. There's someone who could encourage you that has gone even through far worse things than you have. And they did try and they did get help. Be kind to yourself. Reach out. Men, again, reaching out is not toxic masculinity. You can reach out and you will get help. And then try something every morning. Really, try something every morning. It doesn't have to be big, but you get some blessing, and there is bound to have some way out when you try something. Don't sleep. Wake up. Take care of yourself. Shower. Oil yourself. Put on clean clothes. And Tell yourself nice things. Look in the mirror. There must be a way out. Trust me, there are people who have been trying so many things. They hope for many things, but only when they don't try, that's when things become really, really tough on them. So with September, at this point, I want to encourage you, please, please, take care of yourself. Try something. Try breathing out, in and out. Count 1 to 10, and maybe that second is when you change your mind thought pattern. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you soon with some more stories on psychology. My name is Florence, and please do subscribe. Thank you very much. All the best.